Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jose from Florida Hoodlogs. Today's video is 10 reasons why I would not buy real estate in Naples, Florida. And just a little disclaimer, these statements are not held as true, but they're held as my personal opinion. I just want to inform people who are looking to invest so they can have good information and they can have a second point of view. Everybody in Naples is a realtor. Like 10% of the people in Naples, Florida consider real estate as their main source of income. That means your landscaping guy is a realtor, your pool guy is a realtor, and the waitress at the bar is a realtor. I have literally been at a bar and had the waitress try to tell me she's a realtor, and I'd be like, look lady, I just want a beer. When you write Ocala, Florida, on the internet, you'll get people who are into horses, you'll get people who are into gardening, you get people who are into local history. When you write Naples, Florida, you get like 10,000 realtors trying to sell you properties. It's just disgusting how many realtors there are in this town. And they say all types of lies to sell you properties, so that's why I'm giving you guys a second opinion. So let's get right into it. The top 10 reasons why I would not personally invest money into Naples, Florida. Number 1. Relative to other parts of Florida that offer the same exact thing, prices just can't go up. Look at West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach has a larger population. West Palm Beach has better shopping. West Palm Beach has wealthier people. Yet, the properties in Naples, Florida are actually going for higher prices than West Palm Beach in Port Royal and other high-end neighborhoods like Aquiline Shores. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Also, when you look at real estate in rural areas, West Palm Beach, for example, their estates are already filled up 100%, and their properties in that area are between $300,000 to $350,000. In Naples, Florida, we have estates as well. They're built up like 20%. That means that 80% of the land in Golden Gate Estates is still not developed, and the prices are already there. So relative to other parts of Florida, the real estate just can't go any higher, and it is in some places. And at the end of the video, I'll break down some information about that, specifically Aquiline Shores and Port Royal. Naples can no longer be competitive with their prices. You have places like Wesley Chapel in Tampa, like Lakeland. There's so much construction going on all along the I-4 corridor. St. Augustine has all the charm and a lot of history. So many places in Florida, like the Villages. There's a lot of competition out there, and when you put the competition right next to Naples, they can't keep up because the prices here are just too much of a balloon. There's a lot of competition, and relative to the competition, Naples just doesn't hold its ground right now like it used to in the past. Number 2, the bubble is at the top. I said I would talk about Port Royal and Aquiline Shores. You'll see properties that have been on the market for 200, 300 days. Now, these are million-dollar properties. A lot of wealthy people make millions of dollars in these types of properties. This is nothing new. And actually, all throughout the price brackets, people are making huge amounts of money by flipping real estate, especially when you get up over the $700,000 mark. You can buy a house for $700,000, sell it for $900,000, and you make a $200,000 profit. And when you get into the millions of dollars, the same exact thing is happening. But what I've noticed recently is that these people bought properties 3 years ago for $5 or $6 million, and now they're on the market for $9 million. Those are huge profits. And you can do that a few times. You know, the properties keep going up and going up, but you get to the point where the market is saturated with properties that were bought, and now they're re-entering the market at a huge percentage increase. And wealthy people do that. That's how they make their money. A lot of times they're not even interested in selling the properties because they're just trying to see if somebody will actually bite at those numbers. The problem with Aquiline Shores and Port Royal is that the quantity of properties in that price range and the amount of time that they spent on the market lets you know that there's a bubble going on there, and I don't think that bubble can hold up anymore. So in the most high end, the top of the market, I would be really careful investing in Naples because those properties have just ballooned and ballooned. I was looking at a property that was $15 million just for a lot, $4 million just for a lot. And those prices are relative just to the properties, you know, that are near them. Naples doesn't need a realtor to sell it. If you go to a place like this, you see the natural beauty, the beaches, how clean the streets are. If you like it, you're going to buy and nobody, not what I tell you. Like, I'm moving to North Florida soon, and I've heard meth, drugs, blah blah blah. None of that's gonna stop me from moving to the place that I've decided I'm gonna move to. And I'm sure you're the same way. If you've decided that you want to move somewhere, what I'm telling you isn't gonna make a difference. So, as far as that goes, Naples doesn't need somebody to sell it. It just sells itself. The problem with the prices, though, is that these prices have just ballooned so high, and there's other aspects we're going to get into here, like the red tide and natural disasters, and those prices are just relative to what other people are paying for these properties, and it gets scary when you're paying $15 million for a lot. Now, $15 million may not be a lot to somebody who apparently can afford it, but for the average person, you know, who is leveraging their way into mortgages, which a lot of people in Naples are, I would really stay away from that, because it just keeps ballooning and ballooning, and believe me, it just doesn't make any sense. You're seeing properties that were bought for $5 million going up for $7 million, and somebody buys it at $7 million and they put it at $9 million, and that just keeps happening over and over again. So the most recent sell is the absolute worst sell. And not saying that they're actually selling for those numbers, they'll sit on the market for a while, but that balloon is happening over and over, especially on the high end, and a lot of times it's not even, neither the buyer or the seller actually holds that money. It's all with a down payment, so it's really the bank's money, and somebody's going to get a lot of people are winning and winning and winning, but somebody's eventually going to have to eat that loss at the end, and that's definitely happening in Naples, especially in the more high-end communities. Whew, I struggle to explain that one. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is the name. You were buying a name. You were buying a small town with a lot of wealth. The name of Naples. That is what gave this place the prestige. That is what made these lots be worth millions of dollars. And it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. The reason this place had prestige and wealth is gone. This is a big city now. This is not the small little town on the beach. At that moment, there was Venice, there was Sarasota, there was Naples, and there was a lot of other little places that could have done the same exact thing. Naples did it because Naples had a name, prestige, and that is gone. This is no longer a small town. This is a big city like Fort Lauderdale. You have a lot of wannabes, a lot of leverage your way into this place type of people, and these people that were here originally in Naples, they retired here with wealth. Naples was a place to retire with wealth. Naples is no longer a place to retire with wealth. Naples is a place where people with a little bit of money who think they're wannabes basically come here to make more money, and when everybody does that, then it's not what it used to be anymore. So that change from retired wealthy people to young wannabe rich people who are probably leveraging their way into life on money that's not theirs, that change has taken away the prestige, the name of this place, which is what gave this place the appeal that it originally had. You would never see people begging for money in Naples or paying in line with a food stamp card and getting it declined and that type of thing. Not saying that's wrong, because that's been me sometimes, usually me, okay? But in general, there was like an atmosphere here where everybody was wealthy, and that atmosphere has gone away, and you start to see stuff like the other day we're coming out of Taco and Tequila. This is a little hipster place that we love to go to. It's open late. They have tacos and tequila. I'm a millennial, so we're there. So we're coming out, and this old lady's outside begging for money. You would never see that here in Naples, like 3 or 4 years ago. Just today, I went to Bravo Supermarket in East Naples, and there we had a guy outside begging for money. You used to never see that. Never. You would never see somebody begging for money. And now you see a lot of people on bicycles everywhere because there's a lot of illegals working in the city. So like at 11:30 at night when the restaurants and stores close, you see bicycles zipping all over town. And then you see these people who've worked like a 12-hour day at the gas station buying food with leftover change just to make it happen. And you realize, wow, dude, this place is not what it used to be. Nothing against being poor, but that's not what you buy into when you spent so much money on real estate. When you paid for that, you were expecting to be kind of sheltered from that. And that's kind of gone away, and Naples has pretty much become just like Fort Lauderdale, just like Miami, just like any other big city. It lost that small town feel. And a lot of people tell me, hey, that's happening everywhere. And that is so true. It is happening everywhere. But guess what? I'm not paying for it. You paid for a certain thing and now you're not getting it. And that's the thing. When you paid so much for real estate, you kind of expected a certain level of prestige, you know, and you're not seeing it anymore. Naples stood for something, and right now it's unrecognizable. It just isn't what it used to be. That's my point. Number 4 is bang for your buck. What can you get with $7 million in Naples? A house near the beach. A new nice house, not a monstrously large house. Those are about $10 million. A house on the beach, $15 million. $3 or $4 million, actually about half the price, you can get a huge house a little bit down the road in Bonita Beach, which isn't that much of a difference. So what you get for your money in Naples is very little. To give you an idea, in Ocala, Florida, with $7 million, you can get about 700 acres. A house bigger than the house in Naples, plus 700 acres with your own private lakes, your own private horse track, like huge houses for the horses, stables, right? And like a bunch of lakes and farmland. Like, dude, like seriously, hundreds of acres. That's what you get for $7 million. And in Naples, and you search Florida properties over $7 million, and there are very few places in the state where you'll actually find them. You put $7 million and up in Naples on Realtor.com, and you'll get a bunch of properties. None of the properties are actually that impressive. You can get some of those exact same properties on 100 or 200 or 300 acres somewhere else in Florida for like a third of the cost. So bang for your buck. It doesn't even matter, because even like in more common prices, a $300,000 house in Bonita Springs or Naples or anywhere in this area is a $100,000 house in any other part of Florida. So you're talking a house like from the 70s, like a house. Let's not even get into Naples. Let's just say Bonita Springs, okay, or like Naples Park. The house that you get in Naples Park for $420,000, you'll get that house for $167,000, maybe $180,000 anywhere else in the state of Florida. So bang for your buck. You're not getting anything for your money. What you think you're getting is price appreciation. Not everybody understands that. You spend $50,000 on a mobile home, you rent it out for $500 a month, you get your money back in 6 or 7 years, you'll have your investment back. You buy a $400,000 house in Naples Park on a 30-year mortgage, and in 30 years, you'll get your money back. So you're not getting your money back in rental income, you're getting your money back in a price appreciation. In other words, you're buying your house for $427 today, that will go for $527 in a year or two. You're buying price appreciation, and you're also getting proximity to other properties, which are also artificially and they're artificially priced as well. But you're getting that. That's what you're getting in Naples, and that cannot be predicted. However, people are leveraging properties, $900,000, $1 million properties. They're leveraging their way into these properties, thinking that they're going to make more off the appreciation than the interest rates they have, and you cannot predict that. The market can go up, the market can go down, and there's so many people who are doing that, and that's what they're buying. So in other words, you're not actually getting a physical thing for your money. You're getting a guarantee of something that could happen in the future, and everybody is banking all their money on that. That is how recessions happen. So bang for your buck. You're not getting an actual physical structure for your money. You're getting a guarantee that the price is going to appreciate in the future, and you're going to make easy money. People have been doing that for many years. Is it going to continue to happen? I don't think so. People cannot be stupid enough to keep buying into that. People are eventually going to say, hey, wait, why am I going to pay 3 times as much money when I can buy a property over here for a third of the price and still have money left over? That's what I'm thinking. That's what a lot of people have thought. That's why there's so many people from South Florida living in Central and North Florida. Just came back from visiting a lot of counties in North and Central Florida, and I don't want to put percentages out there, but I think every person that I spoke to either lived in Naples or Fort Lauderdale or Miami or Hialeah many years ago, and now they're in North or Central Florida. The guy I talked to at the hotel was from Port Charlotte. The guy across the street from the property I want to buy was from Fort Myers, etc., etc., etc. I met a guy in Cross Creek. He was originally from Hialeah. Number 5 is natural disasters and red tide. As you can see by the sign, they're letting you know, hey, don't go anywhere near the beach because you're going to get sick. Matter of fact, we weren't even near the beach and we already got sick. Red tide makes your throat feel itchy. It makes you feel horrible. And red tide is a normal thing in Florida. I have a captain buddy who's lived here for 30 years, and he says there's always been red tide in Naples. There's nothing abnormal about the red tide being here. What is abnormal is how prolonged and how vast of an area. Red tide used to be a thing that would be, in a little area for a little while. In the last few years, it has become so massive, and it's affecting the real estate. We know that. It shuts down tourism. I almost got into a tourist type business right before the red tide, and I'm so glad that I did not invest my money in that direction, because if I had, it'd all been a loss, because for like 3 or 4 months, everything was shut down because of the red tide, and people are starting to catch note of that. For some reason, the news is really, really pushing that subject, and it's scaring a lot of people away. When I go travel, I was up in North Florida, and I was watching a news that was from Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia, and they were talking about how the red tide's all over Florida. Down here, the media likes to protect the real estate. I mean, it's like even like the newspapers are realtors down here for the area, but when you go a little bit down the road, they're realtors for their areas, and they are massively advertising the red tide situation in Florida, and it's starting to affect the real estate. And like I said, it is a naturally occurring thing, but on the scale that it's occurring at is extremely abnormal, and it's not normal. They also have hurricanes, Hurricane Irma, not something that people want to go through, and if you have to go through it, it is a horrible experience. Look at what just happened in the Bahamas. I mean, that was prime real estate down there, and it's just the whole thing got destroyed. And we've been spared by really massive storms in Florida. We've got Irma and this and that and that. And Michael did a lot of damage, but it hit a really rural area. If one of these big storms goes through Naples or Miami or these areas down here, like a really big storm, man, everything is like 5 to, like the tide could, like a high tide could literally flood your house in some of these neighborhoods here in Naples and other parts of South Florida in general. So when you put all that into perspective, do you really want to invest into a piece of land so many millions of dollars like some people do, when it could just all be wiped out? Or if one day, I don't see a solution to the red tide getting better. Hopefully it does. But if the red tide situation keeps going the way it does, there's no way that this real estate could ever maintain its current price if this becomes a more common thing. Because a lot of people who are here full time are like, I was here and I was like, I gotta get out of here. I couldn't breathe for weeks, and makes your throat itchy. It's horrible. So natural disasters is another reason that eventually is going to make, and the red tide, the whole combination of those things. As a local, I make a lot of money with hurricanes, but I can definitely see some people not being cool with the whole hurricane thing. And, insurance companies do not, people think they're insured. Insurance companies are not stupid. They're out to make money. And I know that a lot of people who had insurance still had out-of-pocket roofs. They're professionals. That's what they do for a living. If you think you're going to be smarter than an insurance company, who do you have a surprise coming your way when your insurance doesn't cover your $34,000 roof because it had to be 35 or more? And that's what I saw a lot of times. Entire communities. There's a community here, Island Walk or Village Walk, can't remember. The community built like in the late 90s. Every single house in the community had roof damage, extensive roof damage. I have a mobile home and nothing happened to my roof. So that's one reason people should really consider, if you're considering real estate down here, think about that. A snowstorm might shut down your city for a week or two. A hurricane can shut down an area for months at a time. And if it's a place like Naples where you make all your money on rental properties and everything is made in the wintertime, if in September you get a hurricane, and it can really just mess up, you know, like an entire year off your calendar gone. Number 6, like 80% of the communities in Naples are golfing communities. Who plays golf anymore? I don't think millennials are into golf the way the other generations were. Everything in the city is a golf course. I should make a video about how golf courses are hurting millennials. Golf courses are evil. They're hurting millennials, and that needs to be a whole video to itself. Anyways, golf courses. Are millennials really going to play golf as the next generation is coming in line? Are we all going to play golf? Why is everything a golf community? Like, we like nature trails, we like the beach, we like all of that. Everything is golf courses. Is the next generation really going to play that much golf? How important is golf really? I mean, that was important to like the people who are like older that already died, and the people that are going to die soon, very soon. When they die, what are we gonna do with these golf courses? For one, they're probably the reason we're getting the red tide. A lot of people think that because of the chemicals and fertilizers, and maybe we could grow natural pasteurized cattle on these golf. Probably not. Anyways, what's up with all these golf courses? 80% of the cityscape here is set aside just for golf courses. Millennials are going to turn these things into like Starbucks, Apple stores, and vape stores. That's what's going to be done with golf courses, because that's what the cityscape will look like in the future. What's gonna even right now, like look at, like, there's a problem now in Golden Gate City. There's a golf course there. I think the property is worth like $60 million. It's like half of Golden Gate City is a golf course. Ain't nobody playing golf in Golden Gate City. And then now the city is making the owners decide what they're gonna do, because the city's like, yo, ain't nobody playing golf in Golden Gate City. Why do you guys have a golf course? Now the city wants to rezone the golf course, but the rich people are like, yo, whoa, we ain't gonna have multi-unit housing where it used to be a golf course. Now you're gonna, so like, seriously, the rich people who own the properties are like, we have a golf course. It makes our property be worth so much more money. And then like the city's like, hold on, ain't nobody using that golf course. We're gonna rezone it into something else, and it's probably going to be multi-housing units. Like in Golden Gate City, it's 4 square miles and there's 20,000 people. They do not need half the city to be a golf course. So it's a huge problem, and it's already becoming a problem in Collier County, is what are we going to do with all these golf courses? Ain't nobody playing golf anymore. All right, number 7 is pretty simple. This is a ghost town. Like, people are buying the properties as investment properties, and because they're buying for appreciation, they don't even care if they rent the properties. Matter of fact, a lot of them just bypass that. So between so many second homes, so many investment properties, this is a ghost town. And so you have a lot of land that's occupied with structures like houses, and the local population doesn't benefit from that. Like Port Royal and Aquiline Shores are like a massive percentage of the city of Naples cityscape, right? And I've only done like 2 jobs in there, you know, and both times nobody's been at the houses. It's just been me doing whatever I want. And one house was so big that I actually got lost inside the house and had to call the guy, be like, yo, dude, I'm in a bookshelf room full of wine bottles next to a book room. He's like, turn left, turn right, turn, you know, I was like, how do I get out of this house, man? So all this cityscape is devoted to, and actually these houses, and then like, we gotta do Port Royal stories, man. Then I like felt, I was leaning on the wall and I fell through the wall because the studs were like every 30 inches and there was not even insulation in the wall. So this house was built like crap. And I called the owner and I was like, hey dude, I just fell through your wall. He's like, yeah man, it was built really crappy. There's no studs, there's no insulation. And I was like, I ain't paying for this. He's like, don't worry about it, man, I'll fix it. So anyways, yeah, we need to do some Port Royal stories, man. There's some good Port Royal stories out there. Port Royal, by the way, is where the wealthiest people in Naples live. So there's some good stories in there. Everybody that works in Naples has a Port Royal story. If you've lived in Naples and you don't have a Port Royal story, you are miserable. You're not cool. Your storytelling isn't complete until you've had something happen to you in Port Royal. Anyways, a huge part of the city is empty and you don't benefit from it. And you know, it's not like a normal city where you can benefit year round. You can provide services to people. These houses are all empty. You're like 20 or 30% or 40 or 50%, depending on what area of town you live in, is actually full-time residents. So if you have a business, you are dependent on a seasonal flow of income. And even in the season, these people have contractors, and these contractors do just about everything for them. All the money stays with an elite group of property managers and realtors and contractors. They get all the work for themselves, and it's just the money doesn't really go for it. So just because you're within proximity to all that wealth doesn't exactly mean you're going to make all that wealth. I end up working in Fort Myers and Cape Coral and Lehigh and making a bunch of money in those places. I'm like, I live in Naples. Why am I not getting any calls in Naples? Because there's nobody here. That's why. Number 9 is memories. People, this is not a place where you create memories. And what does that have anything to do with real estate? It really does. Like Gainesville and Ocala are cities that are growing because people go to college there. Or, you know, if you grew up in a small town, then you return to it. Or if you used to, you know what made Naples grow? People used to vacation here, and eventually they were like, wow, I want to live there. And that's what made a lot of people move to Naples, was that they vacationed here, and then eventually they became locals. And that happens with memories. If you create good memories somewhere, you know, like that makes people move in. So now you have a city that, like we said, number 8, this is number 9. It kind of like they tie in a little bit. It's a place where memories are not being created. The houses are empty, the condos are empty, the golf courses are empty, the roads are empty half the year. Nothing's really happening in these properties. The people who come live in Germany and they come down for 2 weeks, or they live in Boston and they only come down when it snows. They're not really living here. They're not creating memories here. There aren't families going to school here. There's no sense of community because everybody comes from different places and nobody wants to look at the next person next door. You don't know who your neighbors are. It's just nothing's being created here as far as memories, and that affects real estate. People move to places where they travel. People move to places where they've created memories, where they've done stuff, and ain't nothing happening in this place other than code calculated real estate investment with no heart at all. It's just for the money. And then you have people who are using it for second homes to get out of the snow, and very few of those people actually become full-time residents. They have bigger houses, more important things going on up north. They don't really care about this place. They're only here to get out of the snow, and that does affect the real estate to a huge extent. It gives this place no sense of community. I mean, I was just in Ocala and Gainesville, and people are going to football games. I was in Baldwin and McLaren up in Baker County, North Florida. They have football games. Like, the whole town comes out because our county is better than your county. No football game makes a difference here in Naples or nothing. There's nothing cultural. It's not like there's football or there's anything that you could say, like LaBelle has, what's it called, the Swamp Cabbage Festival. There ain't nothing here that brings people together other than... What brings people together here? I don't know what brings people together here. Hate, traffic. Yeah, traffic. Yeah, traffic really brings us together. We get to spend so much time. I mean, what emotional thing is happening in Naples other than like divorces? Akron, Ohio is known for car tires. Louisville, Kentucky is known for ladders. What is this place known for? Golf courses? Is that where people's hearts are at? Number 10, the last reason why I would not buy real estate in Naples. And then when it comes to defamation laws, I have to mention that this is my opinion, not the truth, because then I could be sued by like 10,000 real estate agents. Number 10 is directly from YouTube. You guys have said this a lot in all my Naples hate videos, my rants about how I hate Naples. And by the way, that is all my opinion. It's not the truth, because if I say it's the truth, then I will be sued for defamation. Because these people are so sensitive, you can't talk bad about them. We're going to get our lawyers involved. Anyways, number 10, why I would not buy a house in Naples is humidity. Humidity appears to be a problem for people who live like in their houses and work like in the air conditioner, they're complaining about humidity. I have to work out there. What do you think goes on in my life? Yeah, humidity is a problem here. I'm not really a fan of it, and I hope that in North Florida it's not as bad. In some parts it is. It depends on the breeze of the ocean. I don't know. Humidity is a huge problem, and it really does suck. The humidity down here is unbearable. I go through 3 showers a day and 4 to 5 t-shirts if I'm working in a day. So, and there's actually days where I shower up to 4 or 5 times if I'm working a lot. So humidity, and if you don't, it's just your whole skin burns and like you turn to like a red tomato. So yeah, humidity is a problem that just keeps people away, and a lot of people are starting to complain about that. It used to not matter to people, but apparently it is mattering to people because they're coming from parts of the country where humidity isn't just a problem. So that's number 10. Thank you so much for watching my my video, and please leave your hateful comments about why you don't like me. If there's haven't given you enough reason for you not to like me, my teeth are horrible, I'm obese, and I am an immigrant. So if you want to pour out your hate upon me, I really appreciate it, because the more you guys comment, the more YouTube thinks my videos are relevant,